Hey everybody, welcome to the shop. I know I promised for this to be over in 4 parts, but shaping the braces took a little bit longer than expected. Today in this part, I prepare the bell to be soldered on and try to decide which brace would be best to solder on to the lead pipe receiver to the bell bow connection. Let me show you. So the main thing I want to accomplish in this video is shaping the braces properly, so that they have very little space between the two sides of brass. Here you can see the bell brace that I'm going to use for this project. Right here you can see that it's misshapen right now and doesn't fit properly against the wall of the valve casing. The first step in being able to properly shape this brace is to remove all of the extra solder that's still on it. Here I'm setting up kind of a jig because I don't have 3 hands, and I will remove the solder with heat and a Q-tip. Now just flipping that around to get the other side of the brace. I'll grab a half-round file to remove a very thin layer of solder that's still on this side of the brace. It's important for raw brass to be exposed because the solder sticks much better to raw brass than to itself. I'm buffing this piece to make sure that its surface finish matches the rest of the horn in its raw brass and luster. I'll get that polishing compound off so you can see how shiny it is. Here you can see the bright raw brass finish and that the solder's been removed. You can still see it's quite misshapen, but with the solder off I can now hammer on this properly without putting those dents from the solder bumps back into these. I'm grabbing an ambassador valve block from a junk horn just so I can hammer on this without worry of damaging the real project horn. And this is the dent hammer I'll be using. It's a steel dent hammer from Faree's Tools. Comes quite in handy. Because the steel is harder than the brass, it will move the metal easily. As long as I tap on it lightly, there won't actually be any hammer marks that show up. I'm using the bell as a guide to know where this brace will land on the bell and to properly shape that part of the brace to the contours of that part of the bell. These are the styles of braces that I have available. I end up going with a different style because these braces either don't fit or the one that does is unbendable to make very small adjustments to. This dry fitting stage is very important. The more work that I do here in seeing how these braces fit, the less work I have to do bending them, and the better the horn will play. When these braces fit properly, there's no tension on the horn at these spots, which really helps the playability. Here I'm considering different options for the bracing, but I'll soon realize that these braces won't work. Using a Benge brace is possible at the front end of the horn, but in the back where the receiver meets the bell bow, it isn't possible because of the shape of the brace. And that brace ends up being unbendable for some reason. Here I'm checking the spacing and natural place where this brace wants to fit on this horn, making sure that I'm not going to be putting tension on any of the spots of the horn. All of this prep work affects how I decide to shape the braces in the end. I've decided at this point to use the Benge brace in the front, but the silver plating was actually a little bit worn through at this point. So I decide to buff off the remaining silver plating which takes quite a while to get through. In order to get a uniform finish, I'm removing some extra solder that eluded my gaze the first time. Being thorough in this step really pays off with the surface finish at the end. Again, removing that polishing compound. And here you can see that bright surface finish on the brace. I really need to come up with a better dust collection solution when I'm buffing. Here I'm preparing the pinky ring for the lead pipe receiver by removing the old solder. I finally remember that I have half of a Gatorade bottle for my quench tank. I'm setting the horn up in a vise so that I can make sure that the pinky ring is level and square to the rest of the horn. I pull the tuning slide out just a little bit so that when I solder, it doesn't accidentally get stuck to any solder on the end of the lead pipe. I check the alignment of the pinky ring here to see if it's in a comfortable position. Then I use copper wire to secure it to the rest of the horn. Here I'm showing you how I use the solder wrapped around my finger in a flossing style to make sure that I have a secure and steady grip on it. This will help control the solder better and make sure that I don't have any overflow outside of the area that I want to solder in. I use a steady right hand to control how much solder goes into the joint, and I make sure not to overheat the area, and I move the torch away when I don't want the temperature to go up. I remove the copper wire and use this pick to make sure that any of the flux that's still in that joint is removed. I'm preparing the next area for soldering by removing old solder from these braces where the bell connects to the valve casing. Here I'm removing old solder with some fine grit sandpaper from the end of the bell tail, because again, raw brass needs to be exposed in order for the solder to stick properly. I'm adding flux to these areas. This will oxidize and clean out any debris when I go to solder it. I make a quick heat sink out of a shop towel and some water, but unfortunately my video cuts out before I can solder on the bell. Here you can see what that looks like soldered on. That was part 4 of this build. In the next and final video on this project, we solder on the remaining braces and finally get to hear that play test on the horn. In the meantime, if you want to be notified when I upload more videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Thanks for stopping by the shop.